Today's story is Pinocchio. Grandpa Geppetto made a wooden puppet. Hammering, 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 hammering.
You are my son, Pinocchio.
That night, an angel visits Pinocchio.
Be a good boy, Pinocchio, and you can become a real man.
The next day, on his way to school, Pinocchio meets a fox and a cat.
Hey, let's go to the puppet theater together.
And Pinocchio said, "That's a great idea." Pinocchio went to the theater with the fox and the cat.
Dancing wooden puppets. I could make a lot of money with this.
The puppet theater owner locked Pinocchio in a cage.
Please, let me out! Please, let me out! Please, let me out!
Then, poof! An angel appeared.
Pinocchio, why are you in the cage?
Oh, I really didn't want to come. The fox and the cat forced me.
As Pinocchio lied, shoo! His nose grew longer.
Oh, how did this happen? My nose got longer.
Be a good boy, and you can be a real man, Pinocchio.
The angel opened the cage door. Pinocchio was released from the cage and met other children on his way home.
Pinocchio, let's go to our toy village. There we can eat and play all day.
And this time Pinocchio said, "That's a great idea!" So Pinocchio went to the toy town with the children. But in the toy town, strange things started to happen.
Oh no! Kids! We're turning into donkeys! Nay! Nay!
Pinocchio quickly ran home.
Dad! I'm home! Where are you?
But there was no one home.
Grandpa Geppetto went out to look for you, but he fell into the sea.
The pigeon on the roof said,
Oh no! I've been such a bad child! But I'm going to save him!
"Splash!" Pinocchio dove into the sea. But a huge whale swallowed him whole. Inside the whale's belly, Pinocchio saw Grandpa Geppetto.
Oh, Dad! Dad! I'm sorry! It's okay, Pinocchio. It's just so cold. Let's make a fire.
Pinocchio and Grandpa Geppetto built a fire, and the whale sneezed from the smoke.
Achoo! Wow! We're out of the whale's belly! Pinocchio, you saved me! You are a very good boy, my son.
That night, an angel, ta-da, came to Pinocchio.
Pinocchio, you can be a real boy now.
After doing a good deed, Pinocchio became a real boy. And Pinocchio and Grandpa lived happily ever after.
Humbu
and Norbu. Once upon a time, there lived a greedy older brother, Norbu, and a nice younger brother, Hungbu. When their parents died, Norbu took all their possessions and threw his brother Hungbu out. Hungbu was kicked out to a thatched hut and was always poor. He went to the Norbu's house and said, "Brother, can you lend me a bushel of barley?" But the Norbu's wife wouldn't help him.
We don't have anything to eat for us! Take this instead of the barley!
And slapped him on the cheek with a rice spatula. Hungbu, picking at the rice sticks on his cheeks, walked back home. One spring day, a snake attacked the swallow's house. And Hungbu chased it away with a stick. But one of the baby swallows fell to the ground and broke his leg. "Poor thing! I'll help you right away." He tied the swallow's leg well together. The following spring, a pair of swallows flew into the house. They were the same swallows whose legs he had helped. He said, "Right, you're the same swallow that broke its leg last year." The swallow gave him a gourd seed, which he planted on his roof. In the fall, a huge gourd ripened on the roof. When the Hungbu's children saw the gourd, they were so excited and said, "Father, Father, come out here! There are gourds all over the roof!" "Let's take the gourd and boil the inside and eat it," said Hungbu to his children. The family borrowed a saw and started chopping gourds. "Saw, saw, let's take the gourd. Saw, saw, let's take the gourd," they chanted. "Wait, what? That's rice!" They were so happy. In the second gourd, they got gold and silver treasures and silk. In the third gourd, carpenters came and built them a nice tiled house. They were so happy. Meanwhile, when the greedy Norbu heard the news, he immediately caught a swallow, broke its leg, and patched it back up. The next year, when the swallow came back with a gourd seed, Norbu planted it with a big smile on his face. In the fall, a huge gourd ripened on Norbu's roof. Norbu got excited and started sawing away at the gourd, saying, "Saw, saw, let's take this gourd. Saw, saw, let's take this gourd." Sawing away. In the first gourd,
Ew, it stinks!
there came the yellow feces. The second gourd, the goblin came out, and he beat Norbu and his family with a bat. In the last gourd, the thief came out and stole all the goods, and Norbu became a beggar. When the good-hearted Hungbu heard about this, he came to the greedy Norbu and said, "Brother, let's live together." The Norbu regretted for his misbehaviors and lived with Hungbu. Today's story is about the cat in the boots. A poor miller died leaving an inheritance to his 3 sons. The oldest son, who was greedy, got the mill, and the second son got the donkey, and the youngest son, who had a good heart, was left with a cat. With nothing, the youngest son wondered what to do with his life.
Oh,
What am I going to do now? But the youngest son's cat was very smart. And the cat said,
Master, please give me a pair of boots, a hat, and a sack. And something good will happen to you.
The youngest son trusted the cat and did just that. The cat hunted every day. He put on the boots and hat that the youngest son had brought him and filled his sack with the animals he had hunted and brought them to the king.
Your Majesty, this is my master's gift to you. Meow.
Then the king said,
Tell your master, thank you very much.
One day, the king went on a picnic with the princess. When the cat heard about it, he ran to his master and said,
Master, get into the river and pretend to drown. And from now on, my master is the Marquis of Carava. Help! 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 My Marquis of Carava!
The cat shouted to the king.
Look! Go and save the Marquis of Carava.
The king sent his guards to rescue the youngest son, who became the Marquis of Carava. The princess, who was with the king, took one look at the youngest son and fell in love with him.
Marquis, we will take you to your castle.
What? The youngest son was stunned because the youngest son didn't have a castle. As the king's carriage passed through a field, the king asked a farmer,
Whose fields are these?
They all belong to the Marquis of Carava.
The farmer replied, just as the cat had asked him to. While the king and his youngest son were coming to the castle, the cat went to the monster's castle. He said to the monster,
They say you can turn into anything. But can a monster as big as you turn into a small mouse?
And the monster said,
Of course I can! Ha 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 ha! Of course I can!
Poof! The monster instantly turned into a small mouse.
Meow! This is delicious!
The cat ate the mouse in one gulp. And he became the owner of the castle. The king's carriage arrived at the monster's castle.
Welcome to the castle of the Marquis of Carava!
The king, the princess, the youngest son, and the cat had a happy dinner together. Sometime later, the youngest son married the princess.
I'm so glad my good master is happy. Meow.
The cat said with a big smile. Alice Ballet.